So today I wanted to talk about two really interesting topics. One was the Kevin Samuels funeral, which took place yesterday on May 21st, 2022, in Oklahoma City. And I also wanted to talk about this Umar Johnson school opening that's supposed to be coming up in September. So let's go ahead and get into the morning show. I am going to play our Shout into the Void beginning so that you guys can see how that goes. This is not the only beginning that we have, but I'm going to go ahead and play this countdown for you guys so you guys can see that. Make sure that you guys check out A Shout into the Void. Our YouTube channel is coming up, and we do have the podcast coming up as well. So let me go ahead and just show you guys the Shout into the Void, and then we are going to get right into the morning show. Grand rising, everybody. I hope everybody is doing as great as me. Shout out to you guys for tuning in to Black Lounge Divine, as well as checking out A Shout into the Void. We truly appreciate you guys and all the support that we are getting from you guys. A Shout into the Void will be coming up 100% on YouTube. Hopefully, it should have been up the past couple of days, but to be honest with you, I have been under the weather, and so I know that Drea has been waiting on me. So shout out to her and all the hard work she's been doing behind the scenes, as well as all the hard work we've been both doing behind the scenes so that we can get the podcast up and running for you guys to see. Shout out to Shakim Ra for everything and all his support as well. And I wanted to get into a little bit of my health today before I get into the show so that you guys know. I feel like I am back 100%. I can't say it's 100%. I may have a little bit, maybe like 99%. Okay. But pretty much we are back to normal. The kids were back to normal in a couple of days, and it took me maybe like another day or two, but I'm really good. I'm actually doing very well. I slept very good last night. I slept pretty good the whole time. And so, yeah, I would just encourage people to please vaccinate if you can. Also, I encourage people to wash your hands, keep, hand sanitizer around, mask up, stay away from people as much as you can, social distance as much as you can. And also vitamin yourself down. Okay. Take as many vitamins as possible. I'm very proud of the fact that I've done that and that I have really pumped my family full of vitamins, all types of different vitamins. Okay. So make sure that you're doing that and eating properly, exercising, getting enough sleep, taking care of your body like you normally can, like you normally should, because this COVID-19, it is not a joke. Okay. It's not a game. It's not, something that you just, is some quick hoax or whatever. It literally is a thing. Okay. And I don't want to get it again. So I, definitely encourage people to do what they got to do. I'm a believer. If it took me getting it for me to be a believer, then so be it. But I do have cousins that had it and stuff anyway, so it's not like I didn't know. It's just I didn't realize how severe it actually felt. And it did feel pretty bad. But I can say that, I'm a survivor. I did well. I feel well. I feel great. And I'm very proud of the fact that I've kept up with our health and I've had a holistic approach to that. So make sure that you guys are doing the same thing. And yeah, that's just something I wanted to share with you guys. Now, let's talk about this Umar Johnson situation. But before I do that, I wanted to say hey to Money the Burn. I really appreciate you. I know that it's very early in the morning over there on the West Coast. So shout out to you for being here. I know that you don't always get a chance to check my shows out in the morning. So it's always a pleasure to have you in the building. Let's talk about this Umar Johnson ish, okay, y'all, because I am like, what the heck is going on? So I looked into it to see exactly what was happening. And according to Umar, he had made a video saying that the schools will be done, both schools, not just the one school. The schools, both of them, will be done by September 10th. He said, let them talk and watch us work and all this other stuff. And then he went straight to hit the Cash App and hit the PayPal. Now, I actually went past the schools yesterday to kind of see if there's been some new changes. I should have took pictures of it. I'll actually go and take some pictures and stuff so that you guys can see for yourselves. But I didn't see any changes to the school at all. It actually looked the same way. It didn't look like there was anything new that had happened other than, they might keep up with the grass a little bit more. Um, they might do certain things, but the school itself, especially the bigger building, there's a lot of mold on the side of the school. It's like very obvious to the public eye. It's not like it's something that you would, you can't see or whatever. So there's a lot of work that needs to be done to that school. I can't say whether or not it will be. I mean, I think we're going to have to visit that in 4.5 months when, he says that the school will be open. I don't think it's going to get open now. I'll be honest with y'all. I mean, from what I'm seeing and what I'm looking at, it doesn't look like it'll be open by September 10th. Now, maybe he's talking about September 10th of 2030 or September 10th of 2045. I don't know. Maybe that's what he's saying. But September 10th, 2022, I mean, I wouldn't hold my breath if I was y'all. Okay, I'm just saying. Not what I saw and what I looked at. I don't think that's what's happening. Okay. Now, I don't know if this is a ploy for him to just, hit the PayPal, hit the Cash App, because that's what he told him. You know what I'm saying? But, I don't know. But it doesn't look like it's done. It doesn't look like it's ready. It's prepared. If it was prepared, like my question would be if the school is going to be open by then, why are there still boards on the windows? Okay. Why is like none of the classrooms are being shown? None of the equipment that's going to be used for the classrooms is being shown. Like none of that stuff. The only thing he wants to show us is this Nat Turner gym. And there's nothing else he really wants to show, which is like the smaller gym. He doesn't really want to show anything but that and the bathrooms that are in the gym. There's nothing else he wants to show. Like there's several parts of the school, from the classrooms to the cafeterias. And I think there's a couple cafeterias in there. I know there's one that was on the high school side and there's one that's on the junior high school side. Okay. So I don't understand why he hasn't walked through the school more and shown more work done in the school, shown that the ceilings are in place, that that are intact and whatnot. Because we remember seeing pictures and videos of the ceilings and how the drop ceilings were out of place. There was all kinds of electrical lines all over the place, plugging up shit. Like this was not, it was ridiculous. So let's keep it real. Are we opening the school by September 10th, 2022? Because I don't know if he actually said that. I didn't hear that part of it. All I heard was September 10th. Okay. So is he opening the school by then? Or is he going to have another excuse on that day? I honestly think there's going to be another excuse. I could be wrong. Okay. I'm not going to pull cards on it. I could be wrong, but I will say that I think that it's going to be another excuse for it. Okay, because the school is not ready. The HVAC is not in place. The none of the plumbing system is not corrected. There's so many things that it would take more than just a couple $20 and $30 on a cash app to take care of. Like, it's literally going to take corporations, other companies, other businesses, millionaires, billionaires to actually get behind this and put real money into this to drive this to get this done within 4 months. Okay. I don't think this is going to happen. And then on top of that, you got to hire staff. Okay. You got to make sure that the schools go through inspections and that they go through, state inspections, that they're actually approved by the state, that they're approved by the government. Like the curriculum has to be approved. All of that has to be done by September 10th. You can't even keep up with the taxes, bro. Like, I'm just saying, you can't even keep up with the city taxes. You can't even keep up with like simple stuff like that. I can't imagine, if without a staff and without having, an actual crew of people to support this, I can't see this happening by September 10th. I mean, maybe, I'm wrong, but I don't think I am. And, y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments, because I honestly, for those of you who will catch the replay, I'm going to go ahead and go and check out your comments now. But I honestly can't see this being done by September 10th just because of the magnitude of the things that he needs to do. Like, how is it without you having simple things like having a committee in place, which clearly we can see by now that there is none. Okay. So without having a committee in place, how are you able to plan certain things like this? How are you able to make sure that there's not only students, okay, there to open the school up to, but also teachers to teach the students? Is there a gym teacher? Is there all these other things that you're claiming that you want to have? Are there cafeteria workers? Is there a nurse in place? You know what I mean? Like, there's various things that you have to have in place. I cannot see you having that school open by September 10th, 2022. I'm just saying, not the way it looks, and not the way that you have been moving, and certainly not with having all the things in place that you would need to have by September 10th. Now, I'm not trying to be a hater, you understand? But I mean, it's just hard to believe that you would have that together by then. So, I'm sorry, I have to say that. What's happening, R&T Entertainment and Limitless Jones? I appreciate y'all being in the building. What's happening, Spot 'em, Shot 'em? I appreciate you being here. You said, hey, Drama and Spot, peace, R&T Entertainment and Spot 'em. You said Umar will say anything to keep donations rolling in. And it's just ridiculous at this point. You know what I mean? Like, you've been served a cease and desist letter in Pennsylvania, which is where the origination of the business started. It started with Pennsylvania. He lives in Pennsylvania. I believe he lives in Harrisburg, as a matter of fact, not in Philly, but in Harrisburg. So if he's living in Harrisburg, they shut him down up there, that's okay. He can't collect donations there. But how do they know if people are living in Pennsylvania and sending donations to him? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It's kind of difficult to gauge whether or not he'll be held liable for this donation thing in Pennsylvania, because, if he lives in Pennsylvania, like, what are the stipulations? If he lives in Pennsylvania, can he not collect donations in Pennsylvania? Well, he's still collecting donations. Or if he's not living in Pennsylvania, but the business is registered in Pennsylvania, can the business no longer accept donations? I mean, like, I don't know. I'd like to see the breakdown of that. And I think the Pocket Watcher with JT broke that down. I'm going to go ahead and take a look at it. Maybe Make a Change might have said something about it. But I know Pocket Watcher did say something about this. So I am going to go ahead and take a look at that. You guys check him out too. But yeah, he'll say anything to keep those donations going. And it's just ridiculous. And what's up, Knowledge TV? I appreciate you, Ashe. You said, Money, my nickname is now Shredder. Oh, shit now. Oh, shit now. You said, it stinks too bad in there. even he doesn't want to walk around in there. Girl, it's ridiculous. I remember like, and it's clear as day that it's not ready. You know what I mean? It's not prepared because, like I said, 4 months, those teachers should be already in place. They should know where their classrooms look like. They should know like at least a curriculum of what they're going to be teaching their students in 4 months. That's next school year. You're saying that next school year, we only got the summer left. So these teachers should be prepared. They should be ready to get in place. They should already have stuff in order. They should already start talking about, like there's all kinds of stuff that should be happening right now at this moment if the school was going to be open in September. I mean, I don't know who he think he's playing, but clearly he think he's playing somebody. You said, and that you are RNT Entertainment. Wake up to the video. And man, yeah, I had to, boy, I seen that this morning. I said, woo. They added that in there. They added in the sector. You said that man probably hasn't ever paid a bill in his life. Okay. That's facts. You said, hey to Knowledge TV. Hey, keeping it plain. I appreciate you being in the building. You said hello to Pre and Queen and Chad. You said just waiting for the building being sold because of taxes. Yeah. So far I did want to say something about that. So far that has not happened. I did look on the building to see if there would be like a sheriff's sale sign or anything like that. I have been looking for that because I do go past there every so often, and I have not seen that. And there is an actual sign you would see on the door posted prior to, and it's illegal to remove it. So it's not like he can go and take it down because that's going to be more of a fine for him. So it's not legal to remove that sign. So if they put that and they post that sheriff sale up, I will definitely be giving y'all an update on that and making sure that I show you guys that. You say, hey, keeping it plain. And you said, if that school was ever going to be open, it would be open by now. Yeah, I agree. I think by now, it doesn't take that long to do this. I mean, I know that he did undertake a really large task with this school. But again, if he was being honest and he was doing things the right way and doing things the real way, I honestly think that he should have had that school open by now, or at least had it, popping where, people wouldn't be questioning, where the money's going and so forth and so on. That just seems to be happening way too much. And he just seems to be way too nonchalant about it. So that's where I'm at with Umar with the school thing. And, hey, we'll have to see in the next few months what happens. But I am definitely going to be visiting that again just to find out and just to see whether or not he actually does open the school. Now, let's get into the Kevin Samuels situation. I really thought that was crazy yesterday. I did watch a little bit of the show, but I guess it was a funeral. It wasn't really a show. But I was pretty saddened by it. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I was pretty saddened by it. I thought it was pretty sad. And I'd like to talk about it a little bit with you guys because I found it amazing of how the funeral went. Okay. And I'll be honest with you. Like I said, the reason why I was pretty sad about it is because, it's not that I really was a friend or a fan of Kevin Samuels, because I was not. There was a lot of things that Kevin said that I did not agree with. There were some things that he said that I did. But after post-death is when I really started to see a lot of negativity from him. I started to see a lot of things that he said that were very, very hurtful to the Black community. And one of the things, then shout out to Conscious TV, because he had about a 5-hour live stream the other night in regards to this subject. I brought up this video maybe about a week ago, a little before I got sick. And or maybe it was around that time. I don't remember. I got a little brain fog from it, from COVID, guys. So bear with me a little bit. But anyway, I had brought up a video where Kevin had talked about being involved with, or he was involved. He was trying to, he had a woman on the show and he was questioning her about if she had a child prior to marrying somebody, how she would react to that child if the child told her that the new husband was watching her in the shower or did something, made some sexual innuendos towards the child, and how this woman would react. And the woman reacted like most women would react and say, well, this relationship would be over. And Kevin proceeded to berate her about that, and then berate single mothers and say, this is why men should not get involved with single mothers, is because a woman would be willing to take the side of her child over him. Well, any man in his right mind and any man with a clear mind clearly would want a woman who would want to take the side of their child over a situation like this. If in actuality they would go through anything to make sure that their name and their and what's happening with them is cleared in a situation like that, they wouldn't want anything like that to happen. And a real man and a high value man would never want a woman who would take her man's side over her child. Okay, that an average normal minded thinking man would not think this way. And this is why I said that men who were attracted to Kevin Samuels' message were not high value men. Okay, these were low value men. These were low of the muck men who were looking for a zaddy or looking for a leader and somebody who can basically, say that their F shit was okay. That's literally what they were looking for. Okay. And it makes you wonder, because there were so many things that I saw when I did see the live stream of the funeral yesterday. Okay. That funeral spoke volumes, absolute volumes, about who Kevin really was. Okay. And who his followers were, how they really viewed him, and what they used him for. Okay, and I just want to get into that a little bit. We're going to talk about this and kind of break this down, because I really thought it was very interesting to see. Okay, now the past 16 days, which is how long it has been since Kevin, I've been 17 now, since Kevin has passed away, have been some very long days, okay, in the manosphere, on YouTube, in the woman's sphere, and in various places. People have been talking back and forth about the death of Kevin Samuels all over the world, okay? And literally people who never heard of him before have now been talking about him, have been digging into his videos, and have been having back and forth conversations with one another over this, okay? There were a couple of people that I expected to be at the funeral, at least, okay? Average at best, all right? One of those people was the lead attorney, and another one was Dennis Sperling. And if you guys don't know who those two people are, they're both content creators within the manosphere, okay? The lead attorney is, I don't know, I think both of them are pretty popular, honestly. But both of them were like head over heels in love with Kitten Heels, okay, the whole time he was alive. Meaning like they were always up his A, always having interviews, taking photos, having photo ops with him, all kinds of stuff, okay? They had literally 16 freaking days. 16 freaking days, okay, to prepare themselves to fly out to Oklahoma City or Oklahoma, wherever this was, okay? And only one person within the manosphere that I know about was there. And it was Anton Dennis, okay? He's the only one that actually showed up and that actually had words at the funeral. Where was Fresh and Fit? Where was T.I.? Where was the lead attorney? Like, where was all these manosphere men who had all these accolades for Kevin all the whole time while he was alive? You understand what I'm saying? And then when he died, they not only capitalized off of his name by making videos on him and talking all wonderful about him after he died, but didn't even show up to the funeral. Did they even send money for the funeral? Because what I saw with the funeral, and this is no disrespect to the family, because again, a family has to do what a family has to do if somebody passes away. You can't leave them here. You can't just throw them in the backyard. You got to have a funeral for them. You got to have a service. You got to bury them properly. You got to have, cremate them, whatever you got to do. And it costs money to do that. Okay? It literally costs money to do that. It is not cheap to have a funeral. Okay? So this is not a shot at the family in no way, shape, or form or fashion. But we're talking about this high value zaddy that everybody claimed he was, okay? If I, as a regular average citizen in the U.S., can have a funeral service at any time if I pass away and my children need to bury me, my family needs to bury me, they can do it. And they're going to have a couple dollars in their pocket. Do you understand what I'm saying? They can have a decent funeral service for myself. And I'm not out here acting like I'm some 6-figure nigga, like I'm some 7-figure nigga. I make a couple dollars. I'm not broke, but I'm average, okay, at best. I mean, I'm not making big buku money out here, even as a banker. Do you understand what I'm saying? But at the same time, my family can bury me. They don't have to have the average church funeral for me because they're a member of the church and because the church is just going to look out for me because my mother's a member. No, my family can actually have a decent funeral for me. They can have like people and friends and family and have a nice repast if they want to. They can have me in a nice casket and put me in a chariot if that's what they feel they need to do. Because I got a couple dollars set aside for that shit. You understand me? I'm not out here faking the funk, acting like I'm this high average bitch. Like I got all this bread and I got all this money in the bank for niggas and I got all, like I'm not acting like that. I'm an average person. I'm normal like everybody else. I make money like everybody else. Yes, I have business. Yes, I have a nice, decent job. Yes, I'm making good money as a single mother. But at the same time, I'm real. And that takes you to priorities. What are your priorities out here? Are your priorities to look good for everybody else? Because that's literally what Kevin is doing. Looking good for low average men. Looking good for low average people. Do you understand? See, regular high value people, valuable people don't look to people like him for advice, whether they're men or women. Do you understand? We don't need his advice. We don't need to look to him for the answers, okay? Because clearly he wasn't living the life he was telling you. Because like I said, if he was, he would not have had that average at best funeral. Do you understand what I'm saying? He would not have had, his family would not have taken 16 days to have to bury him. Okay? He should have already had at least, what? At least with the money he claimed he was making, because he told y'all he was making $3 million. He told y'all he was worth $3 million. So if he was worth that, why did it take his family 16 days to bury him? Why did he have an average at best closed casket funeral? Now, I'm going to say something that I know for a fact happened. And I don't know if it happened at his funeral, but I know this happened at a person's funeral that I know. Okay? And I was shocked when I found out. How I know that this is true is because when the funeral took place that I was at, that I attended, okay, there was a casket at the funeral. The casket reminded me of the casket I saw at Kevin's funeral yesterday. The casket was closed. There were flowers on top of the casket. And all this guy's pictures was around the casket. Family members were falling over the casket. And all of us that were there that knew the gag were just looking at each other because we knew his body wasn't even in the state that we were at the funeral in. Okay? Like the funeral that we were at was supposed to be a memorial service. We had no idea there was going to be a damn casket there because we knew his body was not in it. You understand? Like, this is how crazy. This is some crazy funerals I done been to, okay? Yes, it happens, y'all. It happens. And I found that out that day. There was nobody in that funeral, in that casket, at the funeral that I was at a couple years ago when a friend of mine passed away. I know that friend was still in the state that they died in. And they weren't in Delaware. But the funeral was in Delaware. And there was a casket, a closed casket at the funeral. He ended up having another funeral in the state he actually died in. We actually did go to that funeral. He was cremated in real life. But why his mother and family members put on this show with this casket, to this day, I'm baffled. To this day, I am baffled. And this happened in 2019. Yes. So, no, 2020, was it? 2020, yep. It was in 2020 because we were wearing masks at the funeral. Anyway, y'all. So that does happen. And I mean, just to think about that for a second just baffled me because it made me wonder why this man's funeral, why the casket was closed. And from here on out, anytime I'm at a funeral and the casket is closed, if you wasn't burnt up in a fire or something like that, I don't know why your casket would be closed. Okay. I mean, if you weren't really, now I question caskets being closed just because of what happened at this funeral, y'all. I'm serious. This just because of that. But anyway, I didn't get into that to talk about that. I just wanted to tell y'all that because I know that is possible. And it just makes me wonder why that casket was closed. But, like I said, high value people, okay? Truly valuable people who value themselves and are truly high value. We don't have to walk around flashing money. We don't have to walk around showing off things and pretending and showing you all the things we have. High value people don't have to do that. Okay, your value speaks for itself. You understand what I'm saying? Like I said, I'm not a 6-figure nigga, but I make very good money for myself. I make very good money for my family, and I'm proud of it. But I don't have to flash it. I don't have to go around, showing that I'm high value or showing that that I'm some valuable person. I don't have to do that because my value shows for itself. And that is another thing. What is value? What is valuable to you? Is it money? Is it expensive shirts? Because Kevin Samuels used to make videos about $150 t-shirts and purchasing expensive cologne and purchasing all these vanity things, all these things that you can't take with you to your average at best funeral when your family has to pay for that 16 days after you die. Where is all this stuff? Where was the money? He should have had at least $100,000 in the bank. At least. He should have had at least $50,000 in the bank. Like, he only has one child? 50,000? And you making 3 million? How come you don't have nothing to show for it? You couldn't liquidate nothing you had in your place? They couldn't liquidate none of your assets? Nothing you had? Nothing was worth anything? To the level where they had to have an average at best funeral. I'm sorry. Priorities should be the word of the day. priorities should be the word of the week in reflecting on this funeral that Kevin had. It's not that I expected Kevin to have this great big, master funeral, but it should have been a little more star-studded, at least, considering all the people that knew him and all the people that held him in such high regard, right? It should have been at least the streaming service should have worked all the way through the service, right? I mean, at least that. At least there could have been an open casket, right? Just simple things like that I saw for this high value man and all his high value friends and all his high value followers. That should have been better. But the reason why his funeral was average at best is because Kevin was average at best. You understand? And that's okay. See, if he had seen that he was valuable because of who he was and not because of how much money he had, if he had seen that Black women are valuable because of just who they are, not because of what they can, how much dick they can suck, or how kind they could be to a man, or how much food they could cook for a man, or, what they can do to please a man. If he could see that women are just valuable and our value is not caught up in how we look or caught up in how good we can cook or caught up in how we speak to you, if he was able to see that, nobody would have cared about his average at best funeral. Because normally, that's how most people are buried, right? Most people have a funeral not 16 days later, unless they don't have any life insurance or they don't have anything to help their family bury them. Okay? But most people are buried, with their church. Most people have their families bury them, as their family would. Average at best. So, what's the lesson for you with that? Like I said, I hope everybody takes the time to reflect on values, to reflect on what values really are and what values really mean for each person. And that everybody is valuable. And that we have to stop having these fights and these arguments about Black men and Black women and how valuable or invaluable we are based off of stupid little, silly little arguments. If you have issues, you need to fix your issues. You dumping on the next sex and the opposite sex to try to make yourself feel better is not going to work. And that's either way. That goes on either side, whether men or women. We got to figure out how to work together and create value systems within our communities so that we're no longer having people like Kevin Samuels, parading around here, dividing up Black women and Black men and the Black community and breaking down the nuclear family over stupid stuff and over things that they feel average at best about. You understand? Like, if you feel average at best about something, then maybe you should improve yourself. Maybe you should work on you. Because what you find valuable, somebody else might not. Or what you find as trash, somebody else might find as valuable. So the conversation should be about prioritizing, life. When we get older, are we taking care of our health? Are we eating properly? Are we exercising? Are we taking care of our families? Are we putting them in a position to strive and to survive if you do pass away? Are we putting them in a position to struggle and to figure out how they're going to bury you if you died? These are things we need to be asking ourselves. And not beating women down over wearing weaves and beating men down over being men and over being protective. Like, this is the stuff we got to stop. We got to stop the fuck shit in the entire community. And we got to get back to being average at best. And it's okay to be average at best because your average is valuable to somebody. Your average should be valuable to you first. And then all the average people, all the valuable people would be attracted to you because you know your worth. Nobody else should be defining your worth. Only you. And if you don't understand how to define that, then get out there and figure that out. But listening to people like him, that's not it. And he showed you that. He was average at best. Guys, I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to read over a couple of y'all comments, and then I'm going to pick up my baby girl from work. She's not my baby. She's 20 years old. I know I keep calling my kids babies. They're not babies. But yeah, let me go ahead and get into the comments real quick. You said, hey, to keeping it plain. You said there will not be a sale in June, but call Newcastle County Sheriff and they will tell you. Okay, I'll call the sheriff's Newcastle County. I think it wouldn't be them though. When the city sells, it's the city that sells it. So it's Wilmington. So I would call them first. I know it's in Newcastle County, but the city actually handles most stuff in Wilmington. And then outside of Wilmington is where Newcastle County handles stuff. So like where I live, if there was something going on with my landlord or something going on with like something out here, I would call Newcastle County. That's who I would call. All right. You said, hey, money to burn. You said his funeral was broadcast. Yes, it was. It was broadcast online. It was some church, St. John's Episcopal or something over there in Oklahoma. And yeah, it was broadcast and it was terrible, girl. It was average at best. Yeah, good morning, Make a Change, Grand Rising. I appreciate you. You said his funeral was sponsored by Target. Shocking. I knew you was going to come through with the roast. Man, the funeral was average, bro. It was Target pots and pans. It was Target. Oh my God, it was bad. It was really bad. It was Target blankets. It was Target flowers. It was bad. You said, hey, Max, Make a Change, Shock and Raw. Great risings, money to burn. Hey, Pixie Long John, I appreciate you always coming in and supporting. You said hello to Pixie. You said not the closed casket funeral. Yes, sir. It was a closed casket funeral, man. It was sad. It was really sad. You said ain't no funeral in your fronting. Okay. Ain't no future in your fronting. Exactly. You said don't tell me there was nobody in the casket. There was really nobody in my friend's casket and when he passed away. There was nobody in the casket. And anybody who's watching that knows me and that was there can attest to that. There was two funerals. There was one in Delaware and there was one in Tennessee. And the Tennessee is where he died. And he never came back to Delaware. He's still in Tennessee. You said T-Pre wants to do a casket check. Girl, I got to do a casket check because I'm like, wait a minute. You said, so he was fronting this whole damn time. Don't make no damn sense. Do it. It don't make no damn sense. You said, I was always thought he dressed average at best. Yes, he dresses nice, but he wasn't sharp. Right. He wasn't casket sharp, you know. You said, could it be that Kevin did not have a will? That's possible. That is possible. But with the will part, like even if he didn't have a will, he doesn't need a will to have, because I don't necessarily have a will, but I have policies in place and I have, beneficiaries in place so that if something happens to me, they're going to get paid. You understand what I'm saying? Regardless. So I don't necessarily need a will per se. You see what I mean? Like, but I get it. Like he should have had something in place, but why he didn't? Why did it take 16 days? You said he wasn't tailored and he was off the rack type of guy. Yeah. Yeah, he got that right at the stove. He went in and tied it on. You said, and the money is tied up in probate. Okay. I don't know why though. You said one there is one who pretends to be rich but has nothing. Another pretends to be poor but has great wealth. Proverbs 13 verse 7. You said, I think they took up donations for his funeral. I heard about that, and then I heard like Boyce Watkins and them were saying that was fake news, but somebody did something. Somebody took out a 401k or something. You said, Rob, for real. You said Shock and Raw exclusives. Hey, you said they kept saying the GoFundMe was fake, but I didn't believe it was. Glitter, hey, Glitter Girl 1229. Yeah, it's clearly something happened. Something happened. You said better is he who is lightly esteemed and has a servant than he who honors himself and lacks bread. Amen. Amen. You said salute Ra. You said wow, keeping it plain. You said a good man leaves on an inheritance to his children's children, and the wealth of the sinner is stored up for the righteous. Go ahead, Shaquille, coming through with that church word today. Amen. Amen. I'm just saying, you gotta leave money for your kids. You can't be out here just running around here drinking Red Bulls and popping bottles and taking bitches and all this. You can't be doing that shit in your 50s and you ain't got nothing for your kids. What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? Your mother should not be burying you, man. You said that's right, T Pre. You said, little girl, you saw the same thing. You said, glad you are feeling better, Miss T, and back on your grind. Yes, baby, I am back. I got lots of energy, and I'm doing great. I'm actually going to do my go back to my exercise routine today. You said T Pre it's the sheriff I called already. It's the first Tuesday of every month. It is. The sheriff sales are the first Tuesday of every month in Newcastle County, but Wilmington does their own sheriff sales. Is what I'm letting you know. So I would contact them too. You said it just goes to show them YouTube checks cannot replace 401k, life insurance, long-term disability insurance. Exactly. And even if you're getting a YouTube check, you can purchase life insurance. Like, this is not hard to do. You understand? Like, you don't really have to have a 401k if you're making money and you're really actually doing your thing, but you should damn sure have life fucking insurance. Like, period. Point blank. Period. Period. And yes, you're right. The long-term disability, yes, those are things you can purchase on your own if you're making money like that. You said in many cultures, we bury our dead within days. 16 days is just unheard of. It's not unheard of, but it is very long. And yes, you're right. In cultures, most cultures I know, like there's especially in Muslim cultures and stuff like that, 3 days. 3 days. You in the ground in a pine box. Period. You said Shakim gone growed up to be a preacher. Don't believe me, just watch. Okay. You said money to burn, maybe. You said, I wonder who is collecting his AdSense money. Me too, make a change because you know he's getting that bread. Like, and they still got his videos up. His videos are still up. So I don't know if his daughter's getting the money. I hope she's getting the money. Like, I don't know, But like I said, priorities, people. We have got to prioritize our lives and make sure that we are not just out here just trying to, look the look and we're not really doing the do. It doesn't make sense to be out here trying to look like we the best and we making all this money and we doing all this and we ain't really doing all that. Okay. It doesn't make any sense at all to do anything like that when you could just be yourself and just be average at best. Okay. But again, disrespecting each other and going back and forth with one another is not the way. Somehow, some way, we got to find a way to make it work with one another. Okay. And figure this out because the disrespect is just cannot be continued. All right, guys, I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to go pick up my daughter from work. I really appreciate you guys for tuning into the morning show. Shout out to all the loungers who are in the clouds, everybody who's in the chat, and all of you who will catch the replay. I truly, truly appreciate you guys for, again, all the support to Black Lounge Entertainment, as well as a shout into the void. I will talk to you guys later. Peace, guys. Thank you guys for watching.